what is being done within the Jewish community in this country? What is being done? Why aren't you speaking in front of Jewish audiences and educating them and modernizing their thinking? Why aren't you doing that? I mean, everybody here, we know what's going on. We know everything that's going on here, and we appreciate you coming and speaking in front of us, but I think you would be much more valuable in front of your own people. Okay? Your people got you fired from DePaul University.
Okay, thank you.
He is our
To answer the last question first, I'm here because I was invited. Presumably, if I didn't receive an invitation, you have sufficient security that would be barred from entering.
I appreciate you being here.
To get to your earlier questions, there's no question that American Jews are not where one would wish they would be, but there's also no question that there have been significant rifts now in the American Jewish community, not on the question of whether Israel should be there. I agree, there is no significant rift on that question, but there is significant dissent on Israeli policy and Israeli conduct. If for no other reason, then it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment for most American Jews who are put in the position of having to justify things like dropping white phosphorus on hospitals. That's a hard thing for Jews who call themselves liberal to defend. Now, if you go on college campuses, as I said, because I focused on the younger people, there is what you might call a core in the Hillels, which are still very strongly pro-Israel. But there's also, in my experience, which is quite extensive, there is no solid support among Jews on college campuses any longer for Israel. In fact, for those of you in the audience here who are members of our called SJPs, the Students for Justice in Palestine, on most college campuses, half of the SJP is composed of Jews. That's quite a shift. So I agree, things aren't where one would want them to be, but they're still much different than they once were. In fact, until fairly recently, it's a very different picture. I see it even from my email. I get many emails now from young Jews who are feeling much closer to the sorts of things I'm saying. On the issue of how was Israel created, and wasn't that by war, I'm not going to enter into that question for the following reason. And I want to stress what I said because sometimes there's some confusion about what I'm trying to say. I am not giving you my personal opinion of right and wrong. There was not one word in my remarks this afternoon that had to do with my personal opinion. Because frankly, I think personal opinions in politics are completely irrelevant unless you're a person of great moral authority. If you are a Nelson Mandela, if you are a Noam Chomsky, yes, you command huge moral authority, and so your personal opinions are almost political opinions because of the kind of authority you command. What I did was I said the following. I said, in order to reach public opinion, we have to use the language that public opinion understands. I then said, and it seemed to be agreement in the room, most people accept that the language that people understand nowadays is the language of international law and human rights. And then I said, this is what the representative and respected institutions of international law and human rights have to say. I didn't say that's what I say. I said that's what the UN says. That's what the International Court of Justice says. That's what Human Rights Watch says. That's what Amnesty International says. And according to them, not me, according to them, Israel is a state like any other state, but Israel has no right to any of the West Bank, Gaza, or East Jerusalem. Those are the areas designated for Palestinian self-determination and Palestinian statehood. So, if we want to reach the public, we have to use